It's time now for some business news here on France 24 with Kate Moody, who joins me here in the studio. Now, Kate, as NATO discusses security issues, cyber security is emerging as a top priority.
Yeah, and we're hearing about the same potential culprits in this region as we've been hearing in other areas of security. Both Russia and China could represent a threat to cybersecurity in Europe and North America. That's the statement from NATO as it adopted a new cyber defense policy. In recent weeks, criminal groups with ties to Russia have conducted ransomware attacks on a number of high-profile targets, including a U.S. oil field, meat processing firm JBS, and the Irish health system. NATO saying the allies would increase cooperation, intelligence sharing, and defenses to protect both the public and private sector from what it described as complex, destructive, and ever more frequent cyber threats. Those threats, the statement said, have been most recently illustrated by ransomware incidents and other malicious cyber activity targeting our critical infrastructure and democratic institutions, which might have real systemic effects and cause significant harm. Take a listen to U.S. President Joe Biden speaking on the subject earlier.
We also endorsed a new cyber defense policy, NATO's first in the past 7 years, to improve the collective ability to defend against counter threats from state and non-state actors against our networks and our critical infrastructure.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. On Wall Street, we've seen new records for both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones paring back some of its earlier sharper losses to close down about 0.25 percentage point. The big markets mover this week is going to be the U.S. Federal Reserve, which kicks off a 2-day policy meeting on Tuesday. Investors will be watching for any possible shift in monetary policy in response to climbing inflation. Earlier, we saw a mixed close for the major European indices, slight gains in London, Paris, and Milan. Shares of the Dutch electronics firm Philips fell 4% after recalling some of its ventilator machines in the U.S. French energy giant EDF has tried to calm concerns about a leak at a nuclear power plant, which it co-owns in southeastern China. A report by CNN said the American government was assessing warnings of an imminent radiological threat at the Taishan nuclear power plant. EDF said gas had been deliberately released within acceptable limits as operators worked to fix a problem at the facility. EDF saying it has requested more information from its Chinese partner. Separately, the company has confirmed that 2 of its nuclear sites in the UK could be closed before the scheduled deadline of 2030 because of potential safety issues there. It's been 10 days since Nigeria's government blocked Twitter in a row over a statement by the country's president. Many small and medium-sized firms that relied on the platform there to connect with customers say their businesses are already suffering. Mario Sofos has the story.
Ogechi Egamonu was selling more than €1,000 worth of watches, shoes and handbags on Twitter every week before the site was suspended by the Nigerian government earlier this month. Now, she doesn't know how she's going to get by.
Since the ban, I have not been able to post to my customers. I've not been able to reach out to my existing customers. I've not been able to get new customers. I've not been able to put images of restocked items. I feel very, very distraught. I feel really disorganized.
Ogechi's just one of many entrepreneurs whose business is being affected. Analysts say that the potential loss in revenue caused by the suspension could see economic growth and development decline in Africa's most populous country, hitting young Nigerians hardest, with youth unemployment already standing at 45%. One survey estimates that just under 40 million Nigerians use Twitter, 20% of them for business advertisement and 18% to look for employment opportunities. Parliament's Joint Minority Caucus says that the suspension is costing Nigerians billions. Though speaking to France 24 last week, the government was steadfast in its condemnation of Twitter's removal of a post by President Muhammadu Buhari.
We are a sovereign nation, and we will not be sitting back and allowing any platform, however large it is in the world, to cause a war within our country, where we'll be entering into discussions with Twitter. We just need to have our regulations respected.
The suspension was announced 2 days after Twitter removed Buhari's post, one that threatened to punish regional separatists and invoked memories of Nigeria's bloody civil war.
And you can see that interview in full with Nigeria's finance minister in our most recent episode of People and Profit. That's on our website now.
OK, Kate Moody with the business news. Thank you very much.